Hello, everyone. Welcome to FuWan Mocha in the Morning. I am your host, Mika, and this is my co-host.
It's Jover. I am Jover VT.
We are your flying dogs here to bring you last week's flight and flight sim related news. Oh, right, that bit was written assuming a different name. Oh well, but how is everybody doing today? I hope you have a fantastic weekend and Sunday, and we'll hope that next week will be a lot less eventful than this week, because dear God, a lot happened this last week. Can I turn up Joe a bit? Can I turn Joe up a bit? How does he sound now? Joe, say something. You're the co-host. You have to say stuff.
I gotta say stuff. Hello, Mika's chat. It is great to see all of you. Pod, it's great to hear that you've learned about how drugs relates to engineering.
Still a bit quiet. He is louder than me at this point, so. Oh no. Well, welcome to our horrifyingly awful. It's still a little quiet. How can he be quiet? There's no way he's quiet. Joe, say more stuff.
Hello, I'm Jover VT. I'm a dog. Mika's also a dog. We're both dogs.
Get closer to your mic.
Well, I can't really get much closer. It's strapped to my face.
He is in the orange zone.
Yeah.
There's not much more I can do about this.
Yeah, the orange is
Caution.
better-ish.
Caution.
Okay. Woof.exe. I agree, Palmidi. No, it's great to
Frank
automate
the
that.
Tank, thank you for the follow. How are you doing? And I noticed that my alerts are fucky, and I'll have to fix that at some point.
No.
But we are gonna bring you the news of things, and it will not necessarily be good. I don't mean the news being good news or bad news. I mean our presentation of the news. We have a Google Sheets here and a set of news stories. And I guess I will be starting with the combat flight sim news. And the first biggest one up is DCS 2024 and beyond. My God, I think this was done by Glowing Amram. It was a phenomenal cinematic. If you have not seen it, you should absolutely go check it out. But not right now, we need your watch time. So it debuted, or at least showed off, some upcoming modules, including the Chinook, the LA-5 or 7, I'm not sure which one is which, carrier deck crew enhancements possibly, the USS Enterprise from World War II, the F4U Corsair, Mariana's Map, Hellcats, B-17s, the A6 Intruder, the A7 Corsair II, the F4 Phantom, Japanese World War II Zeros, the MiG-23 Kiowa, which unfortunately, as our Insider Airshow said, was coming last patch. It did not, so he lied. The C-130, Afghanistan and Iraq maps, and full fidelity MiG-29. My God, is that a list? I think they mentioned that not necessarily everything in that video is coming in 2024, particularly the MiG-29. What do you think, Joe?
I'm excited for the C-130. I think that's going to reduce a lot of suffering on my end, where the systems of the C-130J mod they're good for a free mod, but it's just not where it needs to be to make logistics efficient and make yourself not really hate yourself the entire time flying to your destination. Outside of that, I'm looking forward to the Chinook. That should be really fun to play with and just do all kinds of stuff, along with the Iraq terrain. That's something I'm looking forward to as well.
With the Chinook, I really hope that they will give us a realistic downwash simulation, enabling me to flip over lighter aircraft with my downwash for kill marks.
Well, that's a fun idea. That's a really good idea.
If you've seen firefighting Chinooks, you'll often note that they have kill marks painted on them, and typically they are porta potties and light aircraft, and sometimes small boats.
Yeah, I think I actually have seen that once or twice. But it would also be really cool if they added this functionality, and I don't think they'll ever do it. But if you could, like, if somebody's not paying attention, you could just pick up and steal their plane.
You'd need someone on the ground to help sling load it, but it would be funny. It's insane what the Chinook can sling load, though. It's like every time something is stranded somewhere and needs to get carried back, it's a Chinook doing it.
Yeah, and it's awesome. One of my great friend of mine through high school and through years when I was doing cadet programs and stuff like that. She's now a Chinook pilot, so it'd be fun to reach out to her and see if I can get any insight on how to fly that thing and fly it effectively.
You should do a stream of her teaching you how to fly it virtually.
Oh, that could be pretty solid. I'll have to reach out to her for that. It's a good idea.
Mm-hmm. And earlier you mentioned the C-130. I am also excited about the C-130, and I've been very vocal about why, which is hopefully the introduction of player air-to-air refueling. I would love to be able to fly the tanker for other players. It adds a lot of flexibility that you don't currently have easily in DCS nor BMS even, which is having a truly like flexible and dynamic C1 tanker to assist you in missions, because it's really hard with what we have now. If you're low on fuel, getting to the tanker is often difficult compared to like an alternate field especially. But if you have a player who can just fly out to you, that makes things a lot easier and makes recovery tanker or emergency tanking procedures a lot better.
A whole lot less of, time to go to Ramat David because I forgot how little fuel I have while bombing these targets in Syria.
Oops, common issue. And you know, everybody knows the line for Ramat David is so long. Last time I played the Israeli Theater of Operations, it was like 20 minutes in queue for landing because of all the aircraft. It's no good when you're low on fuel at all.
Yeah. It's nice. I enjoy visiting that lovely country, and I like their food, especially matzo ball soup, but I'd rather not wait for 20 minutes in a holding pattern while I'm low on fuel.
Yeah, and the air traffic control last time I was there was not super good about spacing. They let me land about 10 seconds after an F4 Phantom, and I'm not sure that is safe.
It doesn't really sound like it.
It worked out in the end. Neither of us collided.
Impressive.
Well, you know, the F4 Phantom has less braking capability than the F-16 does, so there's a little gap there.
It's impressive that you can have less braking capability than an F-16, but, you know, at least they have the excuse of being built in the 60s.
The F-16 is okay, especially if you're landing pretty light.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, even the DCS Hornets have their braking capabilities are not right at all. Like, it just does not stop. No matter what you do.
Why do you need brakes in a Hornet? You have a wire.
Yeah, but bro bases, Spanish operations, Canadian operations, Finland, with the Kola Peninsula map, which was surprisingly left out of 2024 and beyond.
Yeah, Kola Peninsula. You know, they gave us Afghanistan and Iraq, and I know those are probably maps that a lot of people ask for, but man, we've got so much desert to bomb at this point. I'd like to see just an off the wall map. Let's do a, I don't know, US Canada border map. Just for shits and giggles.
The Great Poutine War.
Stream lag.
What?
What? That's your end. That's your problem. I've got low latency on Pada. Come on. You'll figure it out. Just F5 spam or Alt F4, that works.
Well, no, then we lose our viewer.
All right, we don't want to lose our viewer.
Yeah, we can't.
Please, we need your viewership. Don't leave us.
At least not yet. Yeah, that was surprising. No Kola Peninsula at all. In that, no tornado, no typhoon, all out of the video, which is really weird of how Orbix was pushing the previews of Kola Peninsula earlier.
Yeah. Kola Peninsula would definitely be interesting. I feel like it's a bit of a different terrain, although I say that, and then I think back, like most of the terrains are pretty mountainous, so I don't know if it would really be all that different, because every terrain has mountains.
Yeah, they're really different though. It's all like coastal mountains and fjords, where it's like the mountains go straight out to the water. There's no like flat land like that. A lot of it's like the flat stuff's mostly over in Finland and kind of like inland Sweden, while the Norway portions and kind of the very north of Finland and very north of Sweden have those mountains. With, of course, Norway covering the whole coastline up there.
Yeah, it reminds me a bit of the Taiwan map, where you have a lot of mountains right off the coast.
Interesting to have it that way. I mean, I love visiting that whole area in Microsoft Flight Simulator pretty regularly. Like, I love going up there and kind of examining and showing, and like, not examining, just like going and visiting it. It's just so pretty to fly around, and I think you'll see a lot of people just flying around just in the area, enjoying the scenery, especially if it's sort of up to the regular Orbix standards.
See, the last time I played a flight sim where I was flying around Taiwan, I was not exactly enjoying it, because I came in for a landing, and on 5 miles out from the runway, I got beep, 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 and exploded.
Oh no. That's
because an enemy SA-15 had positioned itself 5 miles off the end of my runway.
Oh. That's that's rough. That's like Igloo tier. Like, that's not good. It's suboptimal.
Very suboptimal. It was a challenge to take care of, for sure.
Yeah. Sounds like.
All right. I have to ask you then here, as you expressed interest in the Chinook and the C-130, the logistics modules, do you have any of the combat modules that are expected to come soon, TM, that you are looking forward to?
Maybe the F4 if I continue in my Rio role, where I am now in the Tomcat. You know, if I keep doing that, probably the F4, maybe the A6. But like, I'm saving up for eventually when the Tornado comes out. That's what I'm really looking forward to.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to the F4 as well. I've split one of the crew packs with Airshow, and we both. Actually, I don't know if I should say we both, but I myself reached out to Keepler and I was like, hey, could I get like an early manual or something? And they told me, sorry, no.
You gotta ask your insider Airshow. He might be able to get it.
He did similar.
Iowa 2.9. He called it.
Iowa, yeah.
He didn't say which 2.9, just that it was one of the two. It was 2.9.
Well, oh yeah, we'll see if it will come in 2.9 or if they're gonna do 3.0 for the Kiowa.
Yeah, I think it'll be a 2.9. He'll still be correct.
Who knows? We'll find out.
Yeah.
All right. Do we want to move on to our next topic?
I think that's a good idea. It seems like something that you know about and understand better than I do.
Yeah, this one is fairly short. Falcon BMS has been teasing for a while their next update. They're currently on 4.37. They're teasing 4.38, which is going to bring a lot of updates, as is typical with the BMS development cycles. So they've teased a lot of updated graphics, but for the longest time, if you're a DCS player and you come over to Falcon BMS, the question you're going to be asking most often is, why did my plane just start smoking? But after that, you're going to start asking, where Link 16? Where's Link 16? People have asked about that for a long time. And the BMS devs have just kind of said, it's good enough. We don't really need it. There's no reason to have it yet. And it's development time they didn't want. Well, they put out their Merry Christmas and Happy Holidays image here, and prominently featured on top of one of the presents, highlighted by this white arrow here, is what I've been told is a MIDIS unit. And that is what is used to handle Link 16 in the F-16 and I believe other vehicles. So this might be a good hint that they are either working on Link 16 or it may be coming soon.
Very nice.
It'll be an interesting thing to see. I do know that their F15C module in BMS has Link 16 already. So they may be able to port it over pretty quick.
That'd be very nice to see. And that card kind of looks like something my grandma would post on Facebook.
Yeah, I was not expecting this as their Christmas card.
Yeah.
But they did add Santa to the game for Christmas.
Well, that's pretty cool.
He was a hostile aircraft you had to shoot down.
Oh no.
Oh no.
How will the Korean kids get their presents now?
North Korea doesn't get presents. They're bad kids.
Oh, what about the South Korean kids?
They get it first.
Oh, okay. Fair enough.
All right, then more DCS-ish related news. CVW20 had their first large op. CVW20 is Spaceman server. If he's still in the chat here, he's probably gonna lose his head or go crazy. But they are a DCS server and an organized sim group. Their server strives to have a more dynamic feeling than typical servers do, and so they held their first op last weekend. It was a great occasion to stress test the server, and stress test, boy, it did. We all look forward to seeing the future of the CVW20 server in hopes that DCS performance will be more kind to it.
Yeah, that would be something I'd want to.
You enjoyed flying the C-130 about 45 degrees into the wind as well on that server,
Oh
right?
yeah, that was an experience. Otto and I got some great practice with extreme beyond limits crosswind, and that was a thing that we did.
That wind is the reason why my days since last accident counter is not in the hundreds of days anymore. Oh.
Yeah, I was alive until Knight decided to just ram me. He decided to keep me alive so he could kill me once I was on the ground, which was very impressive. He saved me from a MiG-23, which was very kind of him. And then I was very unsaved.
Yeah, most DCS servers are not too big into much wind, and so you typically, if you have a crosswind, it tends to not matter because you're sitting at less than 10 knots usually. But this was like 30 knots, which is pretty high. I don't know the civilian side. I've heard some planes can do 20 knots. I don't know how many can do 30.
The absolute McDonnell Douglas Giga Chad airplane, the Boeing 717, that's technically McDonnell Douglas, I think it maxes out at 45 knots.
Dear God, I don't know how you even.
Yeah, the last time I flew on one, it was out of a hurricane.
Oof.
And that was very impressive. The guy was like crabbed like 45 degrees to the right on his approach, and it was extremely impressive.
Lows of 40, highs of 51. I don't know, but right after my first landing, the tower told me it was, I think, 14 meters per second, which is about 27 knots at ground. And it changed quite a bit on approach, for sure. For a little context here, the F-16 I fly is rated for a maximum crosswind landing of 12 knots.
Uh-oh.
Uh-oh. This is very not good.
That's not great. That's outside of design parameters. That's
by more than double.
Yeah. Yeah, that was about what it was, Pato. I was just looking out the left window instead of the front window. I didn't even use the HUD the whole way in because you just couldn't see anything with the HUD that would be useful. That's true. We weren't flying helicopters. It could be worse.
Yeah, my HUD was not useful for landing either. I was surprised I was able to put her down so nicely at first, but then I started crabbing into the wind on the runway and couldn't get it back, and then I rolled over and exploded.
Yeah, it happens.
The last thing I hear Is Sharklet screaming, no? All right. The last topic I have for virtual virtual flight content is Kerbal Space Program 2. And I know people are probably going to be upset about it, but they're working on stuff. This past week, they launched their For Science update. It is their update that includes the exploration gameplay mode. It's a long-awaited gameplay feature that was in Kerbal Space Program, the original, and it will require players to perform experiments to unlock more parts for rockets, planes, and rovers. So it adds a system of progression. I know it adds a system of progression which requires players to be a little more strategic in how and where they go, allowing you to reach the closer bodies, like say the moons of the starting planet, and then once you have enough research and science to unlock bigger rocket parts, you can go out further. However, I do know some of the more experienced Kerbal Space Program players started off by going to the equivalent of Mars, because they said, I can build a rocket to do this with these parts. Which that may get fine-tuned in depending on the devs balance. I know Kerbal Space Program 1, even for me, is a little difficult with the science and career modes, as it's the parts are fairly limited and it's hard to put together something very nice. But the experienced players, they just can stack things together and yeet themselves to like frickin' Saturn.
Yeah, it's pretty impressive how they can just do whatever they want, regardless of what limitations are put on them by the devs.
Yeah, I especially love seeing the builds people do where it's all solid rocket boosters to someplace.
Yeah.
Because that requires a lot of fine control and design.
ICBM core.
Yeah, it would be lovely if Kerbal Space Program 2 got the ICBM rocket motors that are realistic, because the way the real ones work to handle not being able to turn off is they have thrust reversers, basically, which neutralizes the thrust of the booster.
Pretty cool. At least watching them from where I live, you get to see some pretty wacky stuff rocket-wise sometimes. Those Northrop Grumman rockets, of course, being made entirely out of repurposed ICBMs are very entertaining.
Yeah, indeed. A lot of the space programs, though, have started with retired or modified ICBMs, and I think there's only a couple. Or I know, well, the Soyuz for sure is still, depending on how technical you want to get about it, a reused ICBM. But I think there's only a couple more that are still in service that are started design as ICBMs.
Yeah, I want to say... I don't think it's the Antares rocket, but it might be it's one of the Northrop Grumman's ones, which is just straight up an ICBM that was de-ICBM'd. They just took the warhead out and put a satellite on the top that they're still using.
Yeah, because if you wanted to do space program stuff, the best way to get a launch vehicle was to tell the military, hey, this could put nukes anywhere you want it. Yeah, and then you get your money. Free money.
Exactly.
It's easy.
Oh, it's Minotaur. Minotaur. That's the ICBM, I think.
Ah.
Yeah.
All right, Joe, are you ready to take the lead?
Oh, I am very ready. Yes.
I don't know this side, so it's all up to you.
Did you hit the slide? Okay, you did.
Yep.
All right. First off, the big release for the end of 2023 was the Airbus A300R from Microsoft Flight Simulator by AnyBuilds. This is both the freighter and passenger variant of this amazing aircraft, and it starts off with the General Electric CF6 engines and will later receive the Pratt & Whitney's, along with a avionics refresh that's used by airlines such as UPS, which gives it a full glass cockpit. The A300 is kind of this version of the A300's the stepping stone between Airbus going from their original INS-based designs to a more computerized platform that was brought out in the A320. It shares a common cockpit with the Airbus A310, which already exists for Microsoft Flight Simulator as a free airplane, making the A300 very easy to learn. And while it's got less range as a bigger payload, along with a very exciting dynamic cargo system for the A300 freighter, where you can have different preset cargo types such as racing team charters, airplane parts hauls, horses and stables if you want to do that, or any other random weight you want to put in, and it'll load the aircraft with that, which is super cool and really fun to see. And coming along soon should be implementations of the Hoppy ACAR system and all of that for when you're flying in Europe and over the oceans. It's a great release. I've loved flying this add-on so far, and I cannot wait to fly it even more.
Now, with modern or newer airplane designs pretty much all heading towards dual engines. Ow, 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 ow. Thanks for the hearts, Kamini. But with modern and newer aircraft designs heading towards 2 engines, I have to ask, because I know nothing about like actual civilian airplanes, is this a wide body? And then how many football fields long is it? Because I'm an American.
Just a second here. It was one of the first wide-body twin jets, along with the Boeing 767, and this was kind of the beginning of the end for the tri-jet and stuff like that, to be murdered by Boeing and Airbus in a very entertaining fashion. House football fields, 300 feet, right? 100 yards.
Let me put this into my calculator.
I'm a hockey guy, so
300 feet. So oh no, wait. So Microsoft tells me here that 300 feet long is 1.2 jumbo jets in length, which I think is going to be our measurement from now on of how long things are.
Okay, well, it is 177 feet.
Oh, 177 feet.
Yeah. The
So
airplane is, not the football field.
Okay, so that is 0.71 jumbo jets long.
Yeah. Not quite a jumbo jet, it's a medium jet.
Circular logic is fun.
Yeah.
I brought this up because I brought the calculator up because if you didn't know, the Windows calculator, if you put in it has a built-in conversion for length and a bunch of other things, and if you put in a conversion, it'll also tell you about equal to another set of units. So it goes 0.05 kilometers, 0.03 miles, 0.03 nautical miles, 59 yards, or 0.17 jumbo jet or 71 jumbo jets.
Yeah, I get jumbo jets, elephants. I think like one was like a moon or something. Trips around the Earth I've gotten as well.
Yeah, so for all size references from now on, I think I will just punch it in this calculator and tell you whatever most random unit it will throw out to me.
Yeah, and unfortunately it's not on the shared cockpit thing yet, but at the correct time, the A300 would be a lot of fun to fly. I think, Spaceman, if you're still in the chat, isn't that it's going to be compatible with the new CVW-20 logistics flight simulator thingy?
Huh?
Yeah, there's new stuff.
New stuff? Are we talking about something that potentially links DCS to Microsoft Flight Simulator?
In a way.
Interesting.
Yeah. It is. Okay, so that is one of the plane options. And it's great for that. Awesome freighter. Love flying it. But that brings us on to our next thing that AnyBuilds decided to do, because, dropping one of the first long-haul wide-body airliners for the simulator wasn't quite enough for them this year. They decided to tease something once thought impossible for home flight simulation. That is the Airbus A350, set to release hopefully in 2024. Now, what happens here is AnyBuilds for a long while has been teasing that they were originally going to make for X-Plane an A380. Then the project just kind of went dark, and they went back to talking about their Microsoft stuff and how they partnered with Microsoft to give you the A310 for free for the 40th anniversary edition, then went on to make the A300. What they were doing in the background was a secret project, being the Airbus A350, which is Airbus's newest wide-body long-haul airliner, and it is an amazing airplane, looks great, but for years nobody had been able to get any data at all from Airbus for how the plane should fly to turn into the simulator add-on. But it turns out any builds got it, and they will most likely be the first to release the Airbus A350 for Microsoft Flight Simulator, along with being in a race with the freeware group, fly-by-wire, to release the Airbus A380 as well as a new project, with the A350 coming first from any builds, which is awesome to see. I'm super excited for it. It's so cool, and I want to fly it.
I need to learn more about these civilian jets because I know literally nothing.
So they took the plane, they made it out of carbon, slapped 2 gigantic engines under it, and they're like, all right, we're good. Fly it. Great.
The future of carbon fiber in airplanes will be interesting to see, as while I'm not experienced at all with composite materials in engineering, I do have a degree in engineering, and we have extensive experience with metals in general during at least my university courses. But the carbon composites, especially, there's just like nothing. Like if you're going to go, I want to make something out of aluminum, there's a lot of data out there that's just freely available. Carbon composites, not so much. And that's either just because it's not there, or because anybody who has the data is keeping it close to their chest, a tight secret.
Yeah, it's really, I think, the case of the latter, where it's really only Boeing and Airbus doing this. Boeing with the 787 and then Airbus with the A350. And I guess soon the 777X for Boeing, where they're building the stuff out of the carbon composites, but they don't really tell you much about how it does anything it does, and I don't think they want people to know.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see how these new carbon composite primary airlines hold up to time, because there's just not a ton of data for the lifespan, particularly in aerospace applications of carbon composites, as far as I know.
And of course, in the automotive and racing world, those only need to last for a year or even a half a year. Then you can just throw it away because somebody else is already paying for your stuff anyway.
Mm-hmm.
Let's make another. That will be interesting to see how that comes along. I guess from the engineering perspective, but also I get a new plane.
Ooh.
Yeah. At some point.
And according to Google and Windows, this plane is 0.88 jumbo jets long.
Yeah, it's pretty long.
It is almost a whole jumbo jet.
Yeah. It's pretty cool. It's long. It's got 2 versions. One's long and one's longer. And they got the one that's what's it? Oh no, I forgot. Oh no. They have the 900 and the 1000. The 900 is oh no.
Oh no. Oh no.
Brain, come on.
Give it a good whack for concussive repairs.
Yeah. Oh, it's 219.2 feet. Well, the 1000 is 242.1 feet.
242 feet is apparently 0.97 jumbo jets.
Wow, we're almost a jumbo jet.
Yeah, we're very close to being a jumbo jet. We're only 0.03 off.
Yeah, we're almost but then they have that A380 in development too. Hold on, let's see if that's a jumbo jet long or perhaps bigger.
Ooh.
Specification. Let's see. It is 238 feet 7 inches long.
That's less than a jumbo jet.
I think it's less than a jumbo jet, despite being completely double decker.
Uh-huh.
Wow, disappointing.
Well, you can't get too long, otherwise you're going to be a tail strike machine.
Yeah, unless you move your landing gear back.
Yeah.
All right, I think that's gonna bring us to our next story. Oh boy.
What am I looking at here?
Yeah, that is the PMDG 777 from Boeing, another wide-body twin jet. Who would have thought? This one is the other flavor, the Seattle version instead of the Toulouse, France version. It's also big. It is exactly. I'll give you just a second here. It is in its shortest version. It is 209 feet long, but in the long version, it's 242 feet long.
242 feet long?
Yeah.
So we're seeing lengths of about the same. This is probably due to airport infrastructure, I would guess.
Yes, you'd be correct.
Does it have any need to do the funky wingtip folding like the 777 does?
Yeah, so this is the earlier version of that plane. So that plane's not quite ready for commercial service yet. It is supposed to come out from the same developer eventually, and Boeing will hand them the data in advance. But this is the original version, the 200 and 300, along with its various letter suffixes, as opposed to the 8 and 9X. So it's still pretty cool. It's a great thing. It's only in beta testing right now, so there's only a few pictures of previews. But that means somebody's out there testing it for PMDG, and eventually it'll come out at some time that they haven't disclosed yet. Not much else really to say about it, but it's there in the screenshot. Have a look.
It looks like a modern plane to me.
Yeah.
This one of the problems, I actually did ask around at one point to some people who really knew planes, and I said, hey, what are some good ways to tell the difference between like the common aircraft? And the response I got was, look it up on flight radar. And you can't generally tell the difference very easily because these aircraft are all designed to the max, so it's very convergent in design. They're all going to look very similar.
About right. Yeah, your main differences are going to be on the inside or just by size in general.
Mm-hmm. And it's really hard. Like I've seen like if you see like a 777 flying around and a 737, it's really hard to tell which one's what because they're far away and you don't know how far away it is.
Yeah. So like the 737s generally look old because their design is very old. They just strip out the insides and then make them longer and then hope that works until it doesn't. And
we'll talk a bit about that later.
Yeah, foreshadowing. But generally the 777's in that kind of 400 passenger-ish range. And that's pretty cool when you use a two-class cabin at least. If you really want to sardine can them in, you can put 550 people in one of those. You know, if you want to go a little Ryanair style, that's the exit limit of the airplane. So that's how many seats you can possibly throw in there before it becomes illegal from not having enough emergency exits.
Yeah, I'm very glad the FAA has generally pushed back against the sardine can configurations that airlines dream up.
Yeah, I think the CEO of Ryanair should be taken to a dark room and just left there for some of his ideas. But that's a story for another day.
Hey, he may have terrible ideas, but at least he's pretty funny on Twitter sometimes.
That is true. He does start funny things on Twitter. And I guess because he's a billionaire, it's just he doesn't care. He just does whatever he wants. That's all right. He gives us entertainment.
Yes,
and
indeed.
And without Ryanair, who would do all the terrible landings? Besides Navy pilots, of course.
Ooh.
See, that was... It doesn't come back on me, because I only ever fly the Hornet from land strips, and I'm not the pilot when I'm in the Tomcat. I'm in the back seat. So I'm not in control when it goes on. I think it's time to move on to the other generic tube that flies.
Yes, this looks I feel a little rude poking fun at this, but this looks identical to everything else because I can't tell.
This is too European.
Ah.
So if you're buying, so this is the French-German flavor of the Boeing 737 kind of size class. Either you buy this or you buy the Boeing. You don't usually buy both unless you're on a major American air carrier, and then for some reason you buy both for reasons I don't understand. But this is the Phoenix Airbus A320 with its new engines that are finally going to, at some point, be released. It looks pretty good right now. I think it's almost ready, hopefully. Knock on. Oh, I don't have any wood on my desk. It's all right. There we go.
Particle board counts.
Yeah. It's gonna have more. It's the second engine option that has a different engine control system. They look different. The reverse thruster works in a different way. It slides apart rather than being a clamshell design. But what's more important about this is it lays the groundwork for FedEx to release their A319 and A321 expansion package, which is I think for right around $35, 2 airplanes in one pack, which is a reasonable price. They set the trend recently of flight simulator add-ons. Well, not recently, like 2 years ago. A flight simulator add-ons, instead of costing $80 or $90 in the case of PMDG deciding to just fleece people out of their hard-earned money. Well, what if it just only cost like $45? And then everybody started to do that to compete with them on price. And it's great.
We love competition in the marketplace here.
Yeah. So what happens with the Airbus A319 is they take the plane to the picture and you squish it. Make it smaller.
Squish it in which dimension?
It's less long. It's shorter.
Short boys. Short aircraft. We don't see many of those. Yeah. You squish, and it gets smaller. And then the Airbus A321 is if you do the opposite thing, and you stretch it to make it bigger. Long planes, they look like pencils. And then if you can also squish it even more, and you get the Airbus A318, which looks absolutely hilarious because of how small it is. Relative to its wings. I have to Google this.
It looks really silly.
318.
Yeah, Airbus A318.
That's a slough, man. That is certainly a slough.
It's a little short relative to its wings, I think.
I question at that point why people would choose that versus the other more narrow body jets that I would think would be more efficient.
These are all narrow body jets, one aisle. It's commonality, I guess, so you don't have to buy a plane in that other class.
Right.
Another plane in the class. So if you're certified on one Airbus on the A320, you're certified on the Airbus A3, 18, 19, 20, and 21, plus any other variants of that family. So the Neo versions, which are the new engines, or the long-range version, or the extra long-range version, which are coming out. Which the long-range just came out, and the extra long-range in real life will come out soon. You're rated across the whole platform, so your license covers all of them.
Yes, I'd forgotten about that for a moment. They do love to have that type rating commonality, and it makes sense, especially if you have a pilot that's potentially rated on multiple types. Swapping between types is quite difficult.
Yeah.
As you'll see if you watch Airshow fly in DCS World.
Oh, that wasn't very nice.
It's true. He has a lot of difficulty because he flies more than one jet. I do really well because I fly one thing and one thing well.
Yeah, but he doesn't matter what plane he is in. He just kills all the things.
Yeah, and that's what makes it impressive.
Okay, I see where you're going now. The A318 would carry about 100 people, 120 in the 19, 150 in the 20, and then 185 in the A321 in a typical configuration, unless you're going for the evil versions, which are just everybody's crammed in economy seats, such as Frontier Airlines, who operated, I believe, all 4 variants at one point. Because they're
all
Frontier.
4?
Yeah. 18, 19, 20, and 21. They might not have had the 19, but they had the 18, which was silly looking, and I like that they bought the silly plane. But yeah, great job, Phoenix. Keep up the good work. We're almost done with the civilian airplanes, I promise. If we can hit the next slide.
This one looks a lot greener than the last.
Yeah, they haven't painted it yet.
I see.
So that is the Bluebird 767 in that photo, because that's the picture they used for the release. They have released another teaser of their 757 and 767 from Boeing, which are two airplanes in the same cockpit. You know, their common type rating. The 757 being a pencil shape. It's a narrow body, but the wide body is a 767, which came along with that same kind of generation of the Airbus A310 and A300 initially, and then grew on and still serves today as a freighter and passenger plane, along with the 757 to a lesser extent, where Delta just barely keeps them alive. Same with United, while they're running out of parts probably for them at this point, because nobody thought that the market would go the way it did, and Boeing done fucked up and didn't make anything that would replace the 757, so now they're buying Airbuses to replace them. But great airplane, cool plane. Can't wait for it to come out, hopefully, in 2024. They say they're optimistic for a 2024 release, and they were optimistic for a 2023 release earlier, so we shall see.
That is how it goes. Things get pushed back.
Yeah, and at least they didn't do the egregious thing of pretending their add-on was done and then asking people money for it, and then revealing that it was in an extreme early access state only after people paid for it. Looking at you, Flight Sim Studio and the Embraer 170. That wasn't very good.
But why would you finish it if you can sell it now?
Exactly. Which, given they've tried, slowly. But remember, it is always ethical to pirate products from unethical developers, especially Adobe. It is always morally correct to pirate Adobe products.
These views do not reflect the opinions of this show.
Look, what was the last time you saw somebody pay for Photoshop?
Hey man, I just don't want to get in trouble for saying this stuff.
I assume everybody at Adobe knows that nobody buys anything unless they're forced to. Like, they've got to be. I bet you their own employees pirate it.
I bet their own employees have it for free.
You really think Adobe would give something away for free?
Maybe.
Perhaps.
Who knows?
All right. No, sorry. The Adobe Creative Cloud just deducted it from your pay every month.
Yeah, I see. It's a benefit.
That sounds like something they would do. Yeah. FlySimWare has released the early access Learjet 35A. It looks cool. It's an old classic business jet. It goes really high, pretty fast, and it's got wingtip tanks that looks really cool.
Yeah, I noticed the wingtip tanks. Those definitely fell out of what is this the word? Favor?
Yeah.
On designs, particularly military designs. A lot of them had the wingtip tanks, if I remember correctly, as a way to try to solve the wingtip vortices issues. But those tended to get ditched later on, usually for a missile rail. So it's interesting to see it come back.
Yeah, so it didn't really come back. This plane first flew in 1973. So that's kind of right on time for a commercial airplane. It can fly really fast. Not really fast, but pretty fast for what it can do. It can go really high. I think to 40-something thousand feet for cruising. Let me double check. I think service ceiling's 45,000 feet. So you can cruise pretty much up to there when you're light. It's awesome. And you get shortcuts when you fly really high. So we love it. You'll love to see it. And you can do stunts in them. Apparently somebody did that in a Learjet, and it worked.
Well, you can barrel roll anything if you fly it right.
Yeah. Well, this one was, I remember Bill Lear, or whoever owned Learjet, was a lead designer at Learjet at the time, used to design fighter jets, and was like, well, let's just make a business jet. And it just happens to have some pretty extreme capabilities for what it is.
And as an added bonus, when the fuel tanks are empty, the wingtip ones work as flotation devices.
Huh. I never would have thought of that.
I made it up.
Oh. Well, I was going to believe you, so...
I assume it helps with buoyancy a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, it sounds good enough. better than just the seat cushion.
Uh-huh.
I mean,
It might keep the plane floating for a little longer in a ditching situation.
Yeah, perhaps. Although if you're in a situation where you're ditching in a Learjet, it's probably already gone so badly that you're not gonna live.
I'm sure it'll be fine. There's a great record of airplanes ditching in water.
Yeah, but that assumes that the Learjet's if you're not going really high and really fast, it's not very happy.
Well, if you're going high and fast, then you got plenty of distance to glide.
Yeah, something like that. Maybe perhaps on stream we'll try that out. The Learjet. It seems cool. I just haven't given it a shot yet. And then there's the I think I promised my chat that I'd play the Concorde too, because I built that out of Legos. Let's try to dodge that responsibility for now.
Nah, you should do it.
No. But there's so many buttons and switches.
Don't worry, you only need a couple of the switches. It's just like a military jet.
Never fly on a Learjet. Okay, we will keep that in mind. Simulators only. Alright.
I think we're back to me now.
Yeah, it's your
So
turn.
first up here in real life news, there was a B-1 bomber crash. Thankfully, everybody ejected safely. I believe one crew member had a back injury related to ejection or landing with the parachute, but last I had heard they should be fine. Not much is known about this crash yet. Not many pictures are really circulating either because it is on a military base. But a Reddit commenter mentioned that it is possible that freezing fog that day may have had an impact. This is the kind of, according to him, this is the kind of fog where it would just freeze in the air and fall down, and that poses a big risk to aircraft as you will slam into it and it will freeze on your wings and other control surfaces.
Pretty bad.
It is a pretty awful situation to be in.
Where was this again?
I think Travis Air Force Base.
Oh, okay. I was gonna say if it was for whatever reason it looked like Almanad to me. And I'm like, how would they get freezing fog at Almanad? But no, that would make sense at Travis.
I was reading the article from Travis Air Force Base, but they didn't have any good pictures for me to yoink.
Yeah. Like if you lean away from your monitor a bit, it kind of looks like some Middle Eastern base to me.
It's covered in snow.
Oh, that's snow, not sand?
Yeah, that's snow.
Oh, yeah, I think I've been living in generic southeastern United States state with no snow for too long.
Imagine not getting snow.
It's nice. I don't have to shovel it ever again.
I don't have to shovel it either.
How?
I don't own a home.
Oh.
Life hacks.
That'll do it. The city would well, anywhere else I was, they would make you do it, and you had to do it. You had to clear the sidewalk too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's typically how it is, because you gotta keep that sidewalk clear for the people. The city owns the sidewalk, but makes you deal with it.
Mm-hmm. That guy's British.
Laugh at the British guy.
They neither get snow nor tropical weather.
Next up, the U.S. Air Force experimented this past week with a KC-10 extender and a C-5 Galaxy trying to reverse flow air-to-air refuel. So rather than the KC-10 filling up the C-5 connected as normal and fueled up the KC-10. And this is supposed to use existing fuel recipient systems to allow such reverse flow fueling. And the Air Force anticipates that this will allow them to keep their fueling aircraft on station longer should they need to, which would mean that they need fewer air refueling aircraft to maintain the same fuel cadence.
Interesting.
It is an extraordinarily interesting. I very much wonder how it works, but I can see how theoretically it could work. Because if you on the KC-10, you depressurize your tanks that you're gonna get fuel from, or get fuel into. If you depressurize those and the C5 pressurizes its tanks, then the fuel should flow in reverse.
Right. I mean, perhaps they could even just run the pumps in reverse too.
Yeah, something like that, maybe.
Can you imagine if there was just like a reverse sticker, like a reverse switch on there, and then for 60 some odd years, nobody thought to actually hit it, and then someone was like, oh, yeah, we can do that. That's kind of what I imagine happened.
I will note the article I read on this mentioned that this is the first time it has been it's the first time this has been attempted outside of the plane's initial qualification, so it is potentially that kind of a scenario. Like, they were built with this capability and nobody bothered using it until now.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
It makes sense. There's a lot of things that came up, especially in the olden days. I don't even remember what year a C5 was designed in, but a lot of aircraft have capabilities that they don't use anymore because they were needed at one point and then immediately not needed.
Yeah. Or maybe somebody was just like, they just put it there and like, well, it'd be nice to stick this on there in case anybody finds a use for it someday.
Hey guys, for like $500 more in parts, we can do this cool thing. Why not? $500 on an aircraft, that's cheap.
Yeah, that's pennies.
Exactly.
It's amazing.
All right, then the hype of the week, the talk of the town. Oh boy, Boeing! My God, can you? I would
for 5 minutes.
I'd say Boeing cannot catch a break, but that kind of implies that they deserve a break instead of reaping what they sow. This is kind of a terrifying occurrence. A plug door on an Alaskan Airlines 737 MAX 9 blew out. I don't know exactly the dynamics of what happened here, but I get the feeling that this accident is only a non-fatal accident simply because no one was sitting in the seat next to it.
Well, apparently they were saved by the seatbelt.
I had been reading that no one was sitting in that seat.
Interesting.
And this plane had 4 open seats.
Oh.
Oh yeah.
Some lucky shit right there.
That is some very lucky shit. It is possible, looking at some of the pictures of this, that an occupant in that seat may not have been in any danger had they been wearing their seatbelt, but are not in any danger of getting sucked out. But I think with the looks of how the entire wall panel there got sucked out, it probably would have caused some injuries to whoever was sitting in that seat. I can't imagine it wouldn't have.
It was pretty impressive. I think those are the ones where they do have that gap to the left. So there's one, the window seat is missing for better flow to the exit. But of course, this is a plugged exit, so I'm not 100% sure what Alaska Airlines did if their interior there. But that's not supposed to happen. That's a brand new airplane. That thing hadn't even been flying for 3 months.
I think it was what, like 10, somebody said 10 days in service or 10 flights or something. That 10 number came up at some point.
It was brand new.
And it is really interesting with this picture, man, because for those who don't know, a plug door is a door which is cut into the hull. So the hull comes with the hole for the door, but some airlines will plug that door because they don't plan to use it. And it lets them not have to make massive modifications to the actual structure of the aircraft because you're just putting something in an existing hole. And this is commonly done on a lot of airlines. It is speculated that the plugs for the MAX 9 and additional and most other 737s are the same plugs. But the FAA has specifically grounded all 737 MAX 9s unless they meet very specific inspection intervals related to this case.
think they've gotten through a fair few of them for United already, but I have no idea where they're at on Alaska. And this comes right after the whole Boeing telling people on their 737 Maxes to check that the bolts are actually tightened.
Yes, I'd heard about the tail rudder bolt.
Yeah,
and
they kind of...
From the look of this, it's going to be hard for people on stream, but you can see in this photo, and I've seen other photos from slightly different perspectives of this, the bolts are gone. All the bolts for this are gone. They are not sheared off. They are just gone. And that is not good. I'm pretty sure the parts, the little holes that we're seeing on the left and right sides of this are what the bolt screws into, I think. Because I've seen a picture of what this plug door looks like when it's in place. And I get the impression that the bolt screws from the inside into the frame. And then there's a pair of hinges that are like at least on the pictures, they look like about inch thick steel. Those are sheared. So something very, very wrong happened here, and it'll be interesting to see what it is.
And this was right after takeoff too. This wasn't at a cruising altitude. Like this wasn't in a part of the cycle where you would expect pressure to just rip something out. But this is just Boeing. What are you doing?
Yeah, Boeing, man, can you just not for 5 minutes, please?
You're meaning to tell me like that the planes built by Airbus in Alabama are not having these problems, but Boeing, who has been building planes in Renton for 60, 70 years, we're doing this now? Like, for the past few years, the production quality is just gone.
I know, in particular, Boeing, regardless of their own problems, is having a ton of problems with their subsidiary, or I don't even know if it's technically a subsidiary, but their supplier, subsidiary, whatever you want to call it, specifically of Spirit, which has no relation to Spirit Airlines. They have had a massive shit show, and I have some insider knowledge from someone who worked for kind of production equipment for Spirit. And they said as well that Spirit was a massive shit show.
Yeah, that's very fair. That's the one they're associated with for aircraft interior designs. If they want to get an in-house one, it's really just amazing. And I mean, well, the Max 9's been certified for a while, Spaceman. The 10's the one that's up for certification, and the 7's the one that's awaiting its start. It's really impressive how they've managed to fuck this up. And this is just what happens if. I mean, it shows. I mean, Airbus caught them with their pants down with the A320neo, and then they rushed, and this is what happens.
Yeah, Boeing put themselves in a really bad situation after the 737 MAX, MCAS incidents, and then the resulting fallout of that pushed back certification of some of their designs, and they got themselves into a situation where some of their MAX designs were certified, but other ones were going to be certified beyond a date, which would have required due to U.S. law, pretty significant changes to the cockpit to allow for the pilot warning system that brings up checklists.
Yeah,
and so that would have
system that Airbus has had since I think the 80s.
Yeah, so due to their own incompetence, they would have pushed themselves to make it so that like a Max 9 and a Max 7 would not have had the same type rating.
Yes.
Which would have ruined everything for them. So I understand that they're rushing, but also please stop, man. Please, for the love of God.
Yeah, and even on top of that, a few of my cousins were former and current engineers at Boeing. However, they worked at the heavy aircraft side, not the 737 side. So they worked on the 777 and the 747-8. And they said they're just like kind of just shocked at like the 737's division at being able to just continually fuck things up over and over and over again.
That's how corporate cultures go.
Yeah.
And things can you can have a great culture in one division, but then if you have a different division, you can have completely different.
Yeah, it's but for the love of God, Boeing, stop. It doesn't need to be like this. Like, Please stop recycling 60-year-old designs and just stuffing new avionics into them. It's okay when Cessna does it, but that's a Cessna.
Come on, Cessna hasn't designed a new airplane since, what, 1950s?
Well, no, they have their Citation jets that they keep adding new ones on.
Fine, new prop plane.
Yeah, I think they just built a new one. Hold on. I'm pretty sure Cessna just did this.
The statistic that I had heard is that, like, basically no one has made a new piston prop engine for general aviation since the 1950s, which is a huge problem for general aviation.
With the exception of Diamond using Mercedes diesel engines,
Yeah, I haven't heard if that one is, like, certified to actually be on production aircraft or if it's still experimental. Ooh, that's good.
Certified. It's been certified for a few years. It's pretty nice. Let me see. It is. What is that new one? It's like the. Not the Centurion. It's brand new. Maybe it's a turboprop. It's the C408 Sky Courier is the new one, and yeah, it's brand new. FedEx bought a few of them, I think. It can have up to 19 passengers. It's a twin turboprop, and it looks kind of nice. It's slightly nifty. It looks rugged. It looks like it has fixed landing gear. It can land pretty much in lots of places, pick up stuff, and take it somewhere else, I guess. Or have if you really want, passengers inside there too with windows.
When can I mount rocket pods to it?
I don't know. Probably. You probably could do it. Enough effort. If you ask Textron nice enough. And then,
one day when I'm rich, I'll experiment with it and then get rated by the ATF.
Yeah.
It'll be a good time.
Of course. Be pretty cool. Well, yeah, that's well, within my VTuber lore, that wouldn't be me unless you had a bunch of cocaine there at the same time. But you know, well, we can just hang out without any law enforcement action to begin with. We can just do that. We're dogs. We're allowed to do that.
Sure, totally. I'm sure it'll turn out great.
Yeah, no, I think it's cool. You know, we can have like a barbecue, and you know, like we'll do dog stuff. I guess I'm not really sure what that is.
We'll bark and run around in circles.
Bark. Yeah, or we could chase balls. We could chase balls.
Chase after cats and squirrels.
That's true. That's true. That's true.
This is why I bark at night.
Oh, well, that explains a lot then. Okay. Yeah, and you know, like mailmen. What is up with them?
I don't know. Strange person approaching house, must bark.
Yeah, exactly. Like, you gotta alert the other creatures that are in the house with us. Like, you can't just let this guy walk up and then drop off a suspicious package in front of the house. That's unacceptable. I don't understand why the humans allow that. Like, it's just, what is wrong with that? And then the cats, they don't do anything useful at all. At least we provide a use to humans, even if they ignore us.
I'm not sure the cats understand the concept that they are subservient to the humans.
Yeah, I don't think they quite get it yet. Hopefully they start to understand too. You know, I make some exceptions for 2 cats specifically, but the rest of them is unacceptable.
SMH my head.
Yeah, exactly. I don't like them. They don't. They're like, sure, they have, you know, ears and tails, but like, they're useless. They don't even catch mice anymore. Like, why do you have them?
Next up, and the last story for this morning is Osiris Apex. So a lot of people have probably heard of Osiris Rex. That is the asteroid sample return mission, where NASA is returning to their days of cross-wiring things and not testing them pre-flight. But after the Osiris Rex mission was completed, the main vehicle still had a significant amount of fuel left, and NASA decided to continue its mission to a stretch goal. So it flew closer to the sun than it was designed to. About half the distance between the Earth and Sun is where it flew. And that is to get it in a position to approach the asteroid Apophis, Apophis. I'm going to slaughter the pronunciation of that. And it will have to do, I think, 4 additional close passes before it actually manages to get close to the asteroid. And we've got a photo of it. NASA, please, in the future, give me a transparent photo. I swear, please. This is a baked-in white.
Photos.
Yeah, I don't think they have the technology for transparent photos at NASA.
Yeah. I think all the people there just kind of sit there and play KSP all day. I think it's what they really do.
Except for the JPL guys, they say it sounds too much for like work.
Yeah.
Or maybe it's too much like work because they spend all work playing it.
I actually got to know a few of their helicopter pilots when I was in college. I still have their business cards.
Ah, you should give them a call so we can get them on the show.
Yeah, I can try. I no longer am at the university I was at before, so that connection might be gone, but I can give it a try. Plus we can get all kinds of people onto the show. Like, there's tons of VTubers we can get guilt trip into coming on here.
When you have like an actual talk show attempt, you can guilt trip people more into joining, which is a big advantage for our abusive powers here.
Yeah, we have like our mutual life Shark with VT that we can drag in here. We can bring Air Show, we can get Spaceman, we can get Night Assassin if we probably wanted to. We could probably bait the ferret into coming on at least once. We could really, but the sky's the limit. We could probably just get almost anybody.
Yeah, I think
pretending it's a high production show.
I think the possibly the strategy going on, because we don't know what we're doing yet. We're just we kind of said let's just put a date and go for it. I think potentially moving forward, the idea might be let's try to hit a time and fill X amount of time with content. And if things fall off, so we can have like a guest segment, and then if we fill up the time too much with the guest segment, we don't have time for, say, our stories, we could just let them roll over to the next week.
Yeah. So you don't run out of stuff. I think that's a good idea.
Yeah, because there's a ton of stuff right now, but that's because everybody's announcing their stuff, and we might not have much going on after this week, and then we're going to be very scraping the barrel. Although I'll have to follow the news of more flights and VTubers. There's not too much VTuber news here because, of course, many VTubers took off the holidays. But moving forward, we may have a lot more content from flight-related or space-related VTubers to cover.
Yeah. And, general VTuber news is not usually something we would want to cover because you don't want to touch it with like a 40-foot pole. Especially when it gets to the more dramatic stuff. But for stuff like around the flight and space VTuber thing, I think we can make something work out of that.
Yeah, I would personally like to avoid airing dirty laundry of anyone's on this, so I'd like to try to stay positive with the news unless it's, I don't know, something really, really important.
Yeah, I think positive is fun. I think that matches our aesthetic as well.
It makes it a lot easier to crack jokes about things too when nobody's dying and no one's reputation is on the line.
Yeah, except for the case of Boeing.
And ours.
Yeah. Well, although Boeing, I think, causes it is more the people dying part, but
yeah.
Well, except for this time nobody died. They did a great job.
Pure dumb luck. Oh my god.
They dropped the death count per crash by 150. It's great.
Oh boy.
Not crash. They didn't crash this time.
It's an incident.
Yeah, it's an incident.
Incidents are bad.
Yeah, it's incidents are bad, but they're not as bad as crashes.
Although, who knows? We might have a lot more non-fatal incidents to cover with the trend of how many runway excursions are going on these days.
Yeah, and incursions, and That's at least you know that we now know that carbon composite structures do work to improve safety. We have found that out the hard way, but at least we know for sure.
All right, I have to pull up another document. Do we have any other content to cover?
What if we took something from the audience?
Took something from the audience. Uh-oh.
Yeah, let's have them suggest a topic.
Maybe we catch up on the audience too while they're potentially suggesting things.
Yeah, let's do it. Come on, audience, do stuff.
Let's see. So Tank Bearclaw, I saw him pop in here, said that Boeing is the only plane that has rolling windows. It is a feature. It just rolls to the ground somewhere at terminal velocity. Ooh, that is a good burn. A very good burn.
The logistics thing for 20 just dropped. Congratulations to them.
Congratulations.
With their new logistics thing we talked a little bit about on stream during the A300 segment. Very cool. Very cool.
Spaceman also says that he would have said yes if we'd asked him to talk about 20 last second. I had actually considered it, but just to have some assistance in filling up time. But there are two reasons why I did not. First off, I have no freaking clue what we're doing for this first show. Second off, we don't have room for a third in our background.
Yeah.
I need a guest scene. Like this pack of things I got did come with a guest scene, but there's only space for one host there. So I guess like Joe would have to sit in my lap for that.
Oh.
Which I mean is it might be an acceptable scenario.
But yeah, I don't actually have a chair. If you guys look, I'm just on my knees right now, to kind of match heights with Mika.
Luckily,
in the chair.
Luckily, this background that I quickly bought from Etsy did include permissions to modify it.
Oh.
So if we want to get you a chair, I can just copy this chair and shove it over for you.
Well, yeah. Why don't we just throw a third chair somewhere just in case? Like, I mean, we can make this work.
Well, because we could fit 2 chairs in, but I don't know how I'd fit 3 chairs in, because I can't move this chair sideways. This chair is fixed.
Oh, you can't move that chair. Okay.
We might find a better background at some point, or I might try to get a custom background, but it'll depend on how well we do on this stream.
If we do a custom one, can we have like lots of outdated furniture?
Sure.
Like, I want the desk to be like no younger than 40. Like, I
With
want that
lots
to
of
look
scrapes
like,
and very poor looking.
What if you had like, especially in the background, you had that like tacky 70s like what do you call it? Wallpaper. Where's the fake wood wallpaper?
Oh no. Oh no.
Really make it look like we only pay like 50 cents a month in rent for the space.
Actually, I've got a thing I have a suggestion I can throw in here. It's probably going to destroy everything. Let me pull it up in OBS. It is an old background. I think there are hardly any people here at this point who would remember it. Where the heck is an image? Image, add existing. Thank God I am in studio mode, so this didn't just pop up. And I have to put it in the right spot. So it could have been this, which would have been thematic.
Oh, yeah, that would work well with the theme.
For those who can't tell, and I don't think there are probably that many people who would be able to tell by just looking at this. This is actually, I forget which state it's in, but it is actually an abandoned Minuteman training silo from the U.S. Air Force. So
yeah, that fit.
So the hangar actually has like a whole replica silo in the middle of it. And I got to go to it for an airsoft event at one point and snap some cool photos And when I was starting out streaming, I was using this as my just talking background because, dear God, what the frick else am I going to use?
Yes. Maybe we could. I'll go to like Target and I'll take a picture of like some spot we're not supposed to be in. And we could go there. We could go to all sorts of places.
Yeah, we could find some fun photos of random. We can just move the office every episode and see what happens.
Yeah. I mean, who says this isn't a folding table in front of us?
This isn't a what?
A folding table. Like, this could go anywhere.
Yeah, it's actually just this big fancy slab of wood that we stick on top of some sawhorses.
Yeah. Easy. They can't see that.
This
We can see it.
This kind of reminds me of, there's a clip that circulated a couple years ago where somebody asked a streamer, hey, what chair do you use, bro? And you see on his stream, he's got what looks like the back of like a gaming chair. And after someone asked him that question, because they're like, what gaming chair do you use? I want to get one. I'm curious. He stands up and then picks up just like a wooden dining chair. And it's just the green screen it's just the green screen that's putting out the gaming chair back. That's us. We could just
that really is us.
That other chair is actually just a green screen, and we're both sitting here on our knees.
Yeah, we could totally like if we just did the sketchy thing, we could like throw like anybody's model or PNG in the middle here.
Yeah, it would give us a fair bit more room. Yeah, a custom background would give us a lot more flexibility with what we want to do. I'll dig around, and I've got a bunch of other dumb pictures, especially from that event.
I've got and I can get dumb pictures of pretty much anywhere of us doing all kinds of like incredibly dumb things. Like we could places that we really shouldn't be filming anything at all.
How about the flight deck of the C-130?
That's possible. We can do that. We can do we could sneak into an Amazon distribution center. We could inside of a TSA checkpoint.
Oh God. TSA, why are you taking photos?
Yeah. What other places can we do this? I mean, I have an endless picture of cockpit screenshots from simulators. I've got I kind of like the idea of just like out in front of a Target. Like we're just not supposed to be there, but we aren't low enough to go and film in front of a Walmart, so we film in front of a Target instead.
Like pictures from inside a radar factory. Considering where you work, probably not, because I don't want to get the FBI to like kick down my door. Because you can't give them to me. Good. If you are seriously offering, I would give you a timeout and warn you that you should not share classified secrets in my chat, please.
Or you can take it to the Jover VT Discord and put it in the document leaking channel.
Oh no. Oh no.
Did you forget that I have that?
Yeah. I'm bad at visiting people's Discords.
Yeah, especially ones you moderate.
I'm a mod?
Yeah.
That's news to me.
Been. Yeah, I mean, you literally have a husband role in there. Oh, which reminds me, I do need to flip it back over against here on top. Give me a second.
All the pictures taken by military photographers are public use. That's that's why I was happy to find that military photographer photo of actually it's right here of this, because I know like NASA photographs and military stuff is all public use.
Yeah, because we pay for it with our tax dollars. We already paid for the rights to the photo.
One thing I'm worried about is photos of things that we may not necessarily have explicit permissions to use. Yay!
Yeah, well, like I said, I don't think the flight sim devs are gonna be mad that we covered their stuff in a positive manner.
Yeah, I'm sure like this 2024 but and beyond they'll be fine with that. The BMS one, Kerbal Space Program, most of these planes, I'm sure they're fine with that. It's more of like this and the 737 photos. That's what I'm a little. But I need to read up on the legalese of that.
We're also VTubers. They don't know who we are.
That's the strong part.
Yeah.
If I have to start like DMing people on Twitter going, hey, can I please get permission to use this photo? And then they go, pay me $100. I'm gonna shoot back. The budget of my show is like 10 cents, so I can give you 10 cents for this, or I'm gonna have to start drawing things in crayon.
Yeah. Oh, can you imagine we just like threw some of the photos through like a crayon AI filter?
I'd rather not use any AI filters because people do not have nuance with any of this stuff at this point.
Okay. Well, I was thinking it would be funny if it made it look like it came from crayons. Or we could draw stuff with crayons.
Yeah, we could just draw it with crayons.
Ooh.
It's transformative.
Yeah, it's transformative. Use crayons. Microsoft Paint is transformative work.
Indeed.
Especially crayons.
All right, we've filled an hour and a half. I have no clue what to do now.
Yeah, I'm kind of. I'm kind of at. Oh, pictures taken military. You can get engine rooms. So we could do filming in engine rooms. We could do that. You know, maybe instead of an abandoned blockbuster.
Ooh.
Ooh. Be good for like a Halloween episode. What else? I mean, they've got a parking garage. You can do it in a parking garage.
We'll figure stuff out as we go. I do kind of like the idea of changing locations every stream. Even if it's just we change locations until we find one we like.
Yeah, I actually really like that idea, just going to all these different places, and then we take the desk with us.
Spaceman wants to hear the stories of how we became VTubers. Yes.
Yeah, well, Spaceman already knows my story.
I can start, and I have needed to recite this at some point. I need to actually just record it in a proper video and then get someone funny to edit it. But it all started with an anime about singing lesbians.
What?
Yep. So someone posted a frequently posted video of the anime Symphogear on the anime subreddit. The one where somebody suplexes a space shuttle over a building and punches through a mountain. And I said, well, goddamn, I have to go watch this anime now. And I watched the anime. I found out that there was a Symphogear subreddit, a Discord, and I got involved in the Symphogear Discord. And I was fairly active on the Symphogear Discord, mainly just making friends with various people. And eventually, a scavenger hunt came out, and it was this one that went around Discord quite a while, and quite a variety of places, where you'd like get a file and it would say like, don't open me as X file type, and then you'd change the file type and you do that. And it went through like 20 or 30 of these steps, and then finally at the end there was just a clip of someone eating chips, and I went, what? I posted the audio clip of someone eating chips, and I'm like, what the frick is this, guys? And it said, oh, you found happiness. What the frick is this happiness in this clip of someone eating chips? Speaking Japanese and eating chips specifically. And someone immediately replied, oh, that's Korone eating chips. The dog from Hololive. So from there, I'm like, what the fuck is a Korone? And I look up Korone, and I see the Doog stream. And so I fell down the VTuber hole through Korone, and I kind of have the floppy ears reminiscent of Korone a little bit as an inspiration. And from there, I started talking about VTubers with them, and eventually it came up, hey, Mika before you're Mika, you should become a VTuber. I'm like, what the fuck's wrong with you? Get out of here, no. And I'd keep telling them no, and they'd say, hey, you should be a VTuber, and they just keep making valid arguments of like, oh no, it's not that hard to do, like, here's this, oh, you could just get like a pre-made model, and then I'd be like, well, this is dumb, what would my lore even be? And they went, arms dealer. And at that point I was like, ah, shit, they're right.
Of course, with your ethnic background, you must be an arms dealer. You can't do any other jobs at all.
Nope. But Yeah, so I got bullied by a Discord server into becoming a VTuber. And Joe, how did you become a VTuber?
So I first got exposed into the VTuber hole through a side gig I was working. I I'm not sure if I should. Let me think for a second. Okay, so a particularly large VTuber, at least compared to myself, by a really long margin, was in need of accounting and tax services, and didn't have anybody that was willing to work for them quite yet, and couldn't find anybody they're comfortable working with. So I decided that, well, fuck it, I'll throw my hat in the ring. Maybe I'll get picked. And I was hired by this person to continue doing the bookkeeping and accounting work for them, along with tax work for the for however long I'm needed. And then nothing happened. And I kept working with this person. It was really fun, great. And then I continued to do that for a while, and then eventually started branching off and looking at other things. Said person was like, well, I'm not going to be streaming for a week or two. Why don't you go check out Whiskey Project? I'm like, all right, I'll go check out Whiskey Project. And eventually it snowballed to the point of, oh, there's this person that does the flight simulation thing and is a VTuber named Sharklet VT. I'll check her out. And then it all went downhill from there.
Yay!
And after a little bit of time in there, somebody began shipping me as her husband, which was kind of funny. And there's a few of them that really still do, and I appreciate that, because that wound up with me getting the F-14 module. Thank you, Rain. You're a real one. And then eventually, they turned me. I don't know if I was drunk or not when they turned me into a VTuber, to be honest, Mika.
Who knows?
I can't remember. Spaceman was there. Centipede was there. My artist Quentin was there. And I got turned into one. I have the down ears, the floppies, because if I remember right, Quentin just didn't feel like doing the pointy ears, because everybody does the pointy ears. So
Everyone does do the pointy ears.
So yeah, so I got the floppy ears. And now I'm here, and eventually, maybe someday, we'll be in 2D, but moving 2D.
Ooh.
Yeah, and we're saving up for the budget, and we'll turn that into a thing, and we'll maybe I could maybe move almost as much as Mika can move, instead of being still.
Ooh. If you got multiple PNGs to draw on, though, you can do some pretty neat stuff. As a PNG tuber.
A competent PNG operator, which I think. Let me check the project list, because I forgot what I was doing. Secondary PNG. All right. That was not my directive. I guess Centipede just went on his own and did that. So I guess I will have an alternative version at some point. I don't know what it is. Oh, God.
Well, we can find out.
We will sometime find out. And then there will be Jober emotes soon, too. So your subscriptions will actually be, useful for something.
Joe Motes.
Jomotes. Just like Jart and Jeems.
Can we get a Joe Bark emote?
Possibly. I don't know what these first ones will be, but we'll find out. I'm planning on picking up emotes from lots of different artists, so they can. There's a lot that I know that do emotes, and I want to collect them all.
You gotta collect them all. I am suffering from the emote issues right now on Twitch. That is, they just doubled the number of animated emote slots you have, and then on top of that, they added the Twitch alerts thing and said, hey, if you do Twitch alerts, you get 2 more animated emotes.
Yeah, and I have so many slots because my sub points spiked at one point really hard.
Oh,
and,
yeah.
And I had like way too many, and I had just a ridiculous. I don't think they take away your slots.
They
so
don't.
So I have a ridiculous amount of slots, and I don't know what to do with them. And we'll see. I'll have a background soon too, and And once I have enough clippable, memorable moments, I can have an intro video as well, because there's a guy that owes me, and it's going to be pretty bad. Yeah, we're creating. I was turned into a VTuber against my own will. I'm glad the first idea didn't happen, which was turning me into, like, Lightning McQueen copy infringement VTuber, just straight up. And that would have been really bad. I didn't want the Disney people to take a drive over to where I'm at and just kill me.
The Disney hit squads. We all know them quite well.
Living where I am, they are within reach, and they can easily delete me. That'd be bad.
They don't even have to parachute in for their ops.
They don't even need. They can just drive right up. Thankfully, my house for the most part is bulletproof, as it's just made out of concrete and thick concrete at that.
It's an interesting choice in building material.
Yeah, which it does pretty good at like regulating the temperature of my house, so I'm not against it. It's pretty solid. And then I guess it could get me through the windows, but I'd have to figure out where I am in the room while the windows are closed. And that's pretty hard to do through concrete walls.
Mm-hmm.
And completely cover windows. So, I guess if they just sprayed and prayed, the Disney hit squads could take me out. And
they're just gonna fire a javelin into the window.
Yeah, I would hope that my landlord shoots them first before they shoot me, but, I have faith in my landlord. I think she can do it. Really, the whole the meth heads like across the road would probably attack the Disney hit squads and just like steal the wheels off their car, I would assume.
Yeah, but them stealing the wheels off the car doesn't save you. That only stops them from getting back.
Yeah, or maybe it would be enough of a distraction that they focus on the meth heads instead of me. That's. Well, it's just easier to not aggravate the mouse, to be honest.
Yes, just do not poke the mouse. It's worse than poking the bear.
Yeah, I mean, you could also poke NASA, but then they could just drop a rocket on your house, and that's... I'd rather not have that happen to me. I'm close enough for that to actually, occur.
It's okay, they only launch over the sea.
Unless they miss.
I'm sure they won't miss.
Well, I mean, if they wanted to take me out because I poked them.
Nah, NASA's fine. Don't worry.
Yeah. I imagine the SWAT team's just for securing aliens or whatever, right?
The mouse is in public domain. I think, now granted, I've not super well read up on this, but from the last that I had heard, 5 years ago, it is Steamboat Willie that is entering public domain, not necessarily Mickey Mouse.
Yeah. It's up soon, though.
Yeah, Mickey Mouse started not terribly long after Steamboat Willie.
Yeah, and then there was, I guess, it wouldn't be Mouse Squad, it'd just be Bob Iger just personally coming to shoot me. Dude, it's even as if a resident pass, those parks are so expensive, there's no point in even going. It's just ridiculous at this point. Their whole company is just, it's the...
I am at this point about ready to wrap up. I think we're out of stuff to talk about.
I'm out of ideas too. We don't have a guest, so
let's do you have anybody you know that would be hilarious to raid after this?
We could harass the shark. That would be pretty funny because we can team up on her this time.
Yeah, we could.
That would be good.
And we know that the shark isn't, even with her viewer count, she's probably not going to ignore or miss our raid.
No, and she doesn't ignore mine either. She doesn't ignore yours. She's not going to ignore us together.
How do we make this the funniest raid we can to disrupt her stream?
The dogs are escaping the basement, maybe?
All right, let me try to get this prepped. Joe, you have emotes. Can you try to give us a new raid message while I set up for our raid?
I'm trying. What ones do we want with that?
Probably the animated barking or angry, or maybe I don't know, something else.
Maybe. Or the scream. That might be pretty good.
The scream. I do like combining the scream and the angry bark.
Yeah, let's do that.
Like 8 separate mouse copyrights. That sounds about right. Oh yeah, Joe, when are you gonna get background music that's not copyrighted so you can leave it on your VOD?
Whenever I remember to do that, which is, you saw how long it took me to get audio splitting, so where's the, okay, and then we go screen. Okay, why are you putting the emotes at the bottom? Twitch, why? Fine, we'll do it over again.
It does a little bit of funky stuff, but at least it's not YouTube that, when you use emotes, puts them at the start.
Yeah, there we go. There we go. There we go. I think that's our raid message for today.
And let me just, while we're here, Streamlabs. Yeah, let's just, we're scuff enough. Why don't we just be more scuff? I'm just gonna go edit Streamlabs commands while we're at it.
Yeah.
Cloudbot commands, add command. 3. There we go.
Yay.
Now it's set up, so that'll be our raid for the shark.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you all for watching. I've got, let's see. I'm still refusing to schedule things generally. So I don't have any scheduled, like, hard plans for this week. Although you will see me in like 2 hours, because I had managed to like book myself 8 times this weekend without remembering, because I didn't put anything into my calendar and nobody gave me times, which is why I didn't put it into the calendar. And I've managed to dodge 6 out of those 7 commitments, but I don't think I can dodge the 8th, and I couldn't dodge this one either.
Yeah.
So I'll see you then. Joe, do you have any plans or announcements?
Nah. I don't do schedules.
Schedules can be a trap for streamers.
I just hit live, or if there's a thing, I know what time it'll happen, and it's the only thing that can happen at that time, I'll put it in. Otherwise, I just hit go live and see what happens.
Yeah, the classic raid whenever you are live whenever you want. Yeah. All right, thank you all for watching. We'll have a proper ending screen next time, but until then, you got to deal with my regular one. So see you all around.